everybody, it is Julie and I am back with another end of the year 2019 video. This is all of my favorite new to me and debut authors. Let's jump right into it. I have a Google Doc on my phone. I have a stack of books in front of me. Some of the other ones are just up on my shelves and not accessible right now, so I will be inserting covers for anything that I don't have a physical book of, but I wanted to talk to you about the books that I loved, that I read in 2019 that were from new to me or debut authors to the best of my knowledge. The new to me, I definitely know. The debut, I did some research. I'm hoping I'm correct. If I'm incorrect, I'm sure you'll let me know in a comment down below. But also, don't forget to comment and let me know what your favorite new to me or debut author was for 2019. And while we're here, why don't you give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe. Let's keep going. We're gonna start with all of my new to me authors. First up is one that I don't have with me, and that is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. Absolutely amazing story. One of the first ones that I read by a non-binary author about a non-binary character, and one that really took BookTube by storm this year. Absolutely adored the book. I think everybody that read it that I talked to really adored the book. Here it is. Really enjoyed this story. Another one that I fell in love with that was a debut author that I do not have because it was a part of a traveling book for a Patreon was An Absolutely Unremarkable Thing. Unremarkable? Remarkable. An Absolutely Unremarkable Thing by Hank Green. Jog Green? Hank Green. One of the fucking Greens, guys. Anyway, I had no interest in this book because it was like a stranger sci-fi. I thought it was going to be too much like his brother's works. I didn't jump on the hype train. And then somebody was like, hey, I want you to read this annotated for me. And I was like, well, fine, all right. And then I freaking loved it. It was so good. I cannot wait for book 2. I'm so glad that I was pushed out of my comfort zone to read that book because it wasn't really out of my comfort zone. It was so well done. I love the pop culture references. I love the YouTube references. Everything about it. Aces. I super enjoyed it. The Near Witch by Victoria Schwab. I hadn't read it before, and then when she re-released it out into the world, I ordered a copy, the Barnes & Noble, like poopy colored one. Loved the book. I'm not surprised. I really like her other works, but I feel like this was a more pure YA fantasy story than some of her other like world building for her larger series. And it, for some reason, just really resonated with me. I really enjoy it, and I did place an order for the Waterstones, like really gorgeous edition with the stenciled edges, the red and black paperback. There's no reason I need it, but I got it. That's coming to me. All right, and then we have a couple of others. I am relatively sure that The Wicker King is Kay Ancrum's debut novel. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Kayla, but I'm pretty sure it is. I'm putting it in debut, but if I'm wrong, we'll transition it to the new to me. Regardless, I found Kay Ancrum in 2019. You guys know I fell in love with it. I have a dedicated video to mainly The Way to the Stars, but also The Wicker King. It was just freaking phenomenal. Sorry, the clicking is this bookmark. I absolutely love it. It's one of the most stunning, brilliantly written, creatively written books that I read in the year or just in general, and I really fell in love with her writing style, the way that she crafts characters, and the stories that she chooses to tell. They're all diverse and beautiful, and I love them. So that one was a huge standout for me in the year. Then we had Kira Jane Buxton, who wrote Hollow Kingdom, which was one of the strangest books I read in 2019, and I really loved. I was lucky enough to get an arc of this. I did read it before release. This one came out in August, and this one is about a bird, domesticated crow named Shit Turd, and his little dog friend, and then his human falls victim to a zombie apocalypse, and the animals need to escape from domestic life, from where they're trapped with all of their humans, and then also the wild animals and how the two then coalesce, and this bird's journey to try to save humanity because he really believes in them and loved his owner and, you know, wants to get that life back. He's also addicted to Cheetos. I met her when we were at BEA. She signed the book. We had a little conversation. It was absolutely adorable, and I legitimately only got into line to get this because I heard that it was about a bird named Shit Turd who loves Cheetos, and I am not sorry that I did. It was a really cute story. It goes through a lot of different POVs from different animals, and the way that she wrote different POVs based on the traits and characteristics of different animals was like really, really smart. It was a really strange book, but I really loved it. Who knew? Also, relatively certain that Kate Elizabeth Russell, that My Dark Vanessa is her debut. If not, we'll use her as new to me. We're going to interchange these if I'm wrong. But this was a hauntingly dark, really interesting look at sexual predators, at pedophilia. This one is about a girl who falls in love with a teacher, has an affair with a teacher, and later in life realizes that maybe it wasn't as love-filled, consensual as she thinks it was. As the reader, you know that there was a lot of grooming and it's not healthy. In this, we really struggle to walk that line between, as a reader, knowing that she was groomed and that the relationship was very unhealthy, and then her not romanticizing it, but remembering it very, very differently, and kind of seeing how that might start to fall apart. It was a very haunting, very difficult to read story at times, but I really, really loved it. This one is a January 2020 release that I read very early, and I really am looking forward to more people reading this and starting to talk about it more, because I believe that they will. I think that that's going to be a very hard-hitting one for a lot of people. The Ren Hunt by Mary Watson. This is the gorgeous LitJoy crate cover. This is not the normal cover, but this one is a very odd tale about a town with a lot of lore, and there's witches and kind of like a witches, not a coven, but like a council, and there's a lot of mistrust between them. There's a lot of different kind of like fae-ish magical creatures that kind of come about. There's these men of the woods and stuff. It is really interesting. I will say, for a little while I was kind of confused about the wording in this, like the vocab in this, but there is a glossary in the back that kind of goes over some of the words that are used, and that helped a lot. I listened to the audiobook, so I wasn't aware that it was there in the physical book until somebody I was buddy reading with let me know. But very, very glad I got to this one. Really excited that LitJoy Crate included this in one of their boxes, because then I was able to have it and have it on my radar. Really, really cool story, and I am looking forward to getting to the second book. I thought it was really interesting. If you're looking for a kind of different magical take on like a creepy woods, could be your thing. Lastly, for my debut authors is A.M. Strickland's Beyond the Black Door. This one is so amazing, and I don't think I'm incorrect. I'm pretty sure this is a debut. If not, I apologize, and we'll just switch her to new to me, but I'm relatively sure it is. This one is about soul walkers. Our main character can walk through people's souls at night when they sleep. This one is one that has an ace main character, but also has a little bit of like romantic tension, and not like a love story, but there is definitely some kind of like a romance there. For some reason, she really, really connects with this being, and it's really cool. It also has a lot of topics that it discusses that are pretty hard-hitting. We do have things like loss of a parent, and there is violence in this, but we also normalize sex workers, and there's a lot of talk about gender fluidity and sexuality fluidity, and I thought it was an amazing look at all those things within this really unique, really interesting fantasy world, and I really liked it. And this is one that I don't see enough people talking about. I really hope that they start to. I was able to read the arc, but I'm really glad that I have a finished copy. It was amazing. So those are all of my debut authors. Now we're going to go on to my new to me authors. So first up, I have one by Lev A.C. Rosen, which is Jack of Hearts and Other Parts, which is one that I don't physically have, but that was definitely a standout of the year for me, and I was really impressed with this. This one is about a boy who's in high school, and he is gay, and he is out of the closet, but he's also kind of known for having all these different sexual exploits, so people start going to him for advice on sex, and he starts to give it. And it was a very sex positive, very interesting look at a high school's reaction to a teen giving out sex advice when they won't, and I really liked it. It was a good one. Then we have Girls on the Verge by Sharon Biggs Waller. This one is one that I think is very impactful. It made it onto a lot of people's top 10 of the year. This one follows a girl who is going on a road trip, trying to find somewhere that will allow her to have a safe legal abortion and just have some kind of autonomy over her body. It has a friend group in here that try to help her along the way, and they are flawed and the relationships aren't perfect, but we get to see them kind of come to terms with one another, support one another. I thought it was really real and really raw and really maddening, really heartbreaking, but also very beautiful and very important. So this was a really great one. I'm not sure if this is debut. We have Jennifer Geisenbrecht, who wrote The Monsters of Ellenhaven, which made it onto my top 2019 releases as well. Just a really, really great short story novella. If you want to know more of my thoughts, you can check out that video as well. This is a very, very dark, grim fantasy story. Very short. There is like a very toxic BDSM-ish relationship romance thing that happens in this that I'm here for. I really liked this. It worked for me on a lot of levels. It was my thing. It was my jam. I liked it. We have Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali, which is the first of her books that I read. So it is not her debut novel. It is the first one that I read from her, and I fell in love with it. I've also talked about this one in another video. It's a gorgeous cover. It's a gorgeous story about Zainab and Alex and them meeting up on this trip to Qatar, and the way that they come together, the way that their families are already kind of meshed that they didn't know about. And it deals with chronic illness, and it deals with loss and grief and loss of a parent, and it deals with a lot of xenophobia. It deals with a lot of hard-hitting topics, and it was really, really beautifully written and a gorgeous look at a Muslim girl and the way that her life is made difficult by people who are prejudiced against her, and also the way that it also brings her joy, and the way that her family kind of gathers around her, and Alex's family gathers around him and around one another. It's a beautiful story, and I really, really loved it. So 5 out of 5. It's amazing. I will say this once and never again. Frederick Bachman, found him this year, new to me author, and balls. So good. So good. Because I've already mentioned it, The Hollow Girl by Hilary Monahan, I've mentioned in a couple videos already. This is a book that really stuck with me. Again, follows rape and rape culture, but in a fantasy world where the rape happens to a witch who is then able to exact revenge without our modern justice system having to take hold and often screwing the victim over. She's able to get the revenge that we all kind of want to see when shit like this happens. And it was dark and beautiful, and I really liked it. A new to me author that is not a debut, but that's Dawn Kurtagich, and this is Teeth in the Mist, which is so freaking weird. I've described this as House of Leaves YA, like House of Leaves light, because it does follow this really creepy house that's built into the side of a mountain. And there's lore that like the demons and devil were released when they were digging down to build the foundation of this house in the side of the mountain. There's talks about it being haunted. It's now sits abandoned, but we do follow kind of when it was being built, also now. Zoe's father has kind of gone off the rails and died after visiting this house, and she's obsessed with it. She wants to know what happened up there, and so she runs away. She goes up to this house and things happen. So obviously there is something very wrong with this house, and it is very much a scary story. I think I read this one in October. I tabbed and annotated the bejesus out of this one. There is a really beautiful friendship in this. There is a female-female romance in this. There is like a lot of mixed media as you flip through this. You'll get a whole bunch of different things. We've got a crazy goat page. There's some text messaging and things. We've got just a creepy doorway down a set of stairs. A lot of like letters kind of being written. So there is mixed media. It's not just straight text. It was really gripping, really engaging, really creepy. This one definitely is one of the ones where I was like, I'm gonna sleep with the lights on tonight. But I liked it. I will say 100% transparency. There's a twist at the end that I hated, that was not necessary, that I don't understand why the author went there, because it wasn't needed, didn't further the plot, really left like a bad taste in my mouth. But other than that, I really loved this book. So I do still recommend it, but it is dark. There's a lot of trigger warnings, so be prepared for that. But other than that, It was really good. One last new to me author, and that is Kate Alice Marshall. The Rules for Vanishing, guys, is one of my favorite books of the year. It was so haunting, so beautiful, so glorious. It is kind of pitched as the Blair Witch Project meets Sadie, is how I kind of describe it. It has like a police investigation, but also this paranormal aspect. We follow and we see like transcriptions of video content from the kids while they're on a ghost road. We also have a police investigation into what happened on this ghost road, and essentially we follow our main character who went on a ghost road, this road that magically appears in the woods, to try to find her sister who's been taken by Alice, by the witch of the road, and her and her friends go to try to find her sister. It's a very diverse group of friends, a really great group of friends. There's a lot of trigger warnings in this book for the trauma that the kids in this story have experienced and what happens to them along the road as well, because it is very haunting and very paranormal and very fantasy based. But it is so beautifully crafted and so smartly written, and written in a way that really amps up the reader's tension and anxiety, and it is so much fun, but super creepy. Super, super creepy. So this one is my ARC. This one came out in September. I hope more people read it. I have not seen nearly enough people talking about it. It's a great read, and I think one that I'll probably reread at some point as well. Kind of knowing what I know now at the end, I'd like to reread it and see what I think, but it was just freaking aces. It's a lot of books, guys, that I found that were either new to me or debut authors. So either way, the authors were new to me, because if they were debut, they were new to me. If they were new to me, they were freaking new to me. Regardless, I read a lot of amazing new authors, found a lot of new books, a lot of people that I am excited to see what they write next or read backlist and engage more with. This list made me happy. This one made me happy. I still have not filmed my most disappointing. I have the list, but I like to focus on the happy ones. So if you have not read some of these debut authors, give them some support, give them some love, because it's not easy to put out a debut book. It's certainly not easy to put out one that's as inventive and creative and fun as some of the ones that came out this year. Leave it in a comment down below. Let me know if any of these also made your list, or if I intrigued you to read any of these. I hope I did, because I really, really love them. And that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe. I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye, guys. I forgot to take thumbnails for my last fucking video. God damn.